Preacher boy.
They done ran the mayor of Philadelphia out the city. Where'd he go? To Mexico. Man, shut up.
Gutta And Saved, they can't stand me.
The mayor of Philadelphia, Jim Kenney, said, yo, I'm done. I am out of the city. I am not running for re-election. Check out this clip.
I am, because I'm concerned every single day. There's not an event or a day where I don't lay on my back and look at the ceiling and worry about stuff. So everything we have in the city over the last 7 years, I worry about. I don't enjoy 4th of July. I don't enjoy the Democratic National Convention. I didn't enjoy the NFL draft. I'm waiting for something bad to happen all the time. So I'll be happy when I'm not here, when I'm not mayor, and I can enjoy some stuff.
So you're looking forward to not being mayor?
Yeah, that's a matter of fact.
The city of Philadelphia is a hard city. I grew up in Southwest Philly in the 90s, and the city was crazy then. You know what I mean? It was so crazy then that they had to enforce the stop and frisk laws. Y'all remember the stop and frisk laws, right? Back in the 90s, I think they had it like in New York, Jersey, and Philly that I know of. They could have had it in some other places, but I know for a fact they had it in, Philly, New Jersey, and New York. For all those who don't know what the stop and frisk law, let me make y'all familiar with it. It was very predatory. See, what the cops can do, they can just stop you at any given time and frisk you. And they typically did it when you was coming home from school, or you were just sitting on the block with your friends. They'd just roll up and they'd just roll up and just frisk you. There wasn't nothing you could do about it. And a lot of times, man, they would plant drugs on these young boys, man. I seen it happen with my own eyes. That's where that whole thing would just, when you see the cops, just run. You'd rather take your chances in running than them stopping, frisking you, and now they find drugs on you, and now you going to jail. Now, here's the crazy thing. Being as though they was doing that in a poor community, right? The parents didn't have no money for no lawyer, so they would get a public defender. And what the public defender do? The public defender would tell them to cop a plea. Go ahead and cop a plea. Now you cop a plea to that charge, and now you got a felony. And that's what happened to a lot of people in Philly, and then they end up becoming career criminals. So that's what the stop and frisk law did to a lot of young black people in, the Philadelphia, Jersey, and New York, areas during that time in the 90s.
Chapardelli to look into the practice of stop and frisk. Who was more likely to be stopped and why? This is Chad's report.
Mahari Bailey says his first unjustified police stop was in high school.
He just took me out the car, searched the car, asked where are the guns, where are the weapons and the drugs. I'm like, dude, I'm in 10th grade.
No weapons on you, right?
It would not be his last. He says he experienced a handful of others, especially after he became a lawyer, and his cars and his clothes became fancier.
They come up to the car, same exact thing. Where are the guns, where are the drugs?
I was walking, but that's not what I saw.
An Action News investigation found Philadelphia police stopped 3 million pedestrians and drivers over the past 6 years. Roughly 70% were black. Blacks make up about 40% of the population in the city.
Nothing sharp or anything like that?
The data shows blacks and Hispanics were twice as likely to get frisked and searched than whites. A critical question over the years, were the stops justified?
Almost a majority were being made without legal justification. That is, they didn't have the reasonable suspicion that they were required to have for those stops.
Attorney David Radofsky represented Bailey and a half dozen others in a stop and frisk civil lawsuit against the city a decade ago.
It just got to a point where I just said enough is enough.
The settlement resulted in a court-mandated data collection and a yearly report on stop and frisk practices.
While we were seeing 40 or 50% of the stops without legal justification, when we started last year, our analysis showed only about 15% of the stops without legal justification.
You're already starting with the attitude, let's lose it now, all right?
According to police data Action News found in Philadelphia, blacks had the highest percentage of stops but the lowest hit rate, meaning the proportion of successful searches or frisks where contraband was found. The highest hit rate? White women. likely due to targeting prostitution and drugs.
You got to make sure that we're using the tool properly. We're using it within the parameters of the law.
Like her predecessors, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw supports the use of stop and frisk. She says police respond to areas where there is more crime. She says the reality is those are predominantly minority neighborhoods.
It doesn't mean that we get to cast a wide net on any black or brown male between the ages of 18 and 30 because we think just because you fall into this category, we can do anything that we want.
For Bailey, the progress is encouraging, but the pain still lingers.
The frustration, the anger, the humiliation, torment, you can't explain it. So it's one of those things that every black man would know what I'm talking about.
And Commissioner Outlaw says she will incorporate more training when it comes to stop and frisk, but the tool will remain at the disposal of officers.
Now, I understand the necessity of the stop and frisk law, you know, because of all the gun violence and all the drugs that was happening in Philly. But, you know, on the other hand, that law was very predatory and it did a lot of damage than good, in my honest opinion, to the black community. Mainly because a lot of young black men, like I just said, went to prison for minor charges like a nickel bag, a dime bag of weed. Like they was throwing charges, felony charges on people, you know, them young black men under that law. But now let me tell y'all what's going to happen. And I need y'all to hear this out. If you Gilly Wallow, B. McFly, and all the people that's out there that's active in the streets, you know what I mean? Yo, y'all need to tell these young boys, like, if this dude leave and they bring in one of those law and order Trump supporting type of mayors, the city is going back to how it was in the 90s. I really believe that. They're going to enforce these stop and frisk laws. They're going to enforce, you know, mandatory stops. Like, I know they just stopped that you can't, I know they just put in the law that you can't stop somebody for minor traffic tickets in Philadelphia. But there's going to be a loophole because the violence is crazy in Philly. It's crazy right now. So somehow, some way, man, we got to get to these young boys, man. We got to get to them now, man. Shout out to all the people that's trying to make a difference and making the effort and trying to clean up the streets. But man, like, we got to figure out a solution, a new solution. We got to come together and get these young boys together. Now, I know it's a lot of beef going on. See, the beef is happening because this dude killed that dude. Now, his people want to retaliate. They ain't trying to hear, oh, no peace. They ain't trying to hear, nah. They just trying to get back at him. See, the cycle keeps cycling because y'all keep murdering each other. So we need somebody that's gonna get in there and really try to get to these young boys. Because in my honest opinion, they about to start locking everybody up like they used to do in the 90s.
All right. I'm putting cases on all you.
Real rap. They just about to start stopping and frisking everybody. Now that's just my opinion, but you know, they gotta kind of let things get bad in order for them to bring about order, if you know what I mean. But at this point, man, real rap, I don't even know what to say or what to do with these youngins. I'm gonna be honest, man. Should we just sit back and let them kill each other? Nah, that's not the solution. Should we just sit back and let them, you know, go to jail and get locked up? Nah, that's not the solution. But I don't know what's the solution no more. I'm gonna be honest, because at this point, man, I just don't know, man. I just don't know. Shoot, if the professionals don't know what to do, like, look at the mayor planning his escape right now as we speak. What can we do? What can we do? I just don't know. And it breaks my heart that I don't even know. I don't know. Because here's the sad part. Jail or the grave is going to be these young boys' outcome if we don't do something ASAP. This episode of Gutta and Saved was brought to you by Pharaoh Hair Experience, located in Philadelphia, PA. If you want to experience the royal hair treatment and you're in the Philadelphia and surrounding areas, be sure to go to hairpharaoh.ask.me/schedule. Or you could just call for your appointment, 267-262-4655. Also, you can check out Pharaoh_Hair_experience on Instagram for all info, for all styles, for the Pharaoh Hair Experience. If you're a gutter and you're definitely a saint, don't be afraid to let the world know. Go to gasmerch.com. gasmerch.com and check out all our exclusive sweatshirts, t-shirts for men and women of all sizes. gasmerch.com. Exclusive, innovative, and the hottest merch thus far. gasmerch.com. It's your boy Reese Johnson. This is the Gutta And Saved podcast. You already know they can't stand me. I stay dropping the facts. I stay bringing the truth. And if it's in the headlines, I'm bringing it to you, man. I really appreciate y'all for rocking out with me, and I holla at y'all on the flip. Peace.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.